first trimester was a nightmare. Okay, I'm totally kidding. Everyone is different. People experience different symptoms throughout their pregnancy. For most women, their first trimester is the worst. They have awful morning sickness. I did not have morning sickness. I want to give you guys a little bit of a first trimester recap. I am currently in my second trimester. I didn't find out until halfway or more than halfway into my first trimester that I was pregnant, but because I'm a planner and I like to get ahead of things, I did start ordering things on Amazon. I started doing research right away. The first thing I did was saw my doctor. You saw from my previous video that that's when I found out, so she already told me my next steps and things that I needed to do. So I suggest that if you found out that you're pregnant, you call your OB ASAP. The first thing that I did after the doctor, I went straight to CVS and I bought the pregnancy tests, and I also bought prenatals. She gave me a like starter kit of these prescription prenatals, which she said, it's your first time taking them. I would suggest going to CVS and getting some gummies as to have them on standby, just in case these prescriptions like make you nauseous. So that I got from CVS, it was just like this CVS brand prenatal gummies with DHA and folic acid, which they're really good. It just has some sugar in it, which I've been trying to avoid as much as possible. But anyway, I took these in the very beginning, and I would take the prescriptions every other day, and these every other day, because I wanted to like kind of get my body used to the prescription, just in case it did make me nauseous if they were like too strong or whatever. But she said these were completely fine. And again, guys, ask your doctor. Don't take my advice. This is what I did. This is what worked for me. This is what my doctor said I can do in between taking the prescription. So like usual, ask your doctor if you have any questions regarding prenatals and things like that. But you do want to do your research. You do want to get something that's going to work for you. On top of taking your prenatals every day, you want to drink a lot of water. And your doctor's going to tell you to have a well-balanced diet. I highly recommend that. As much as your body's going to be craving so many weird things, I had a craving of like sour gummy candy, sweets every now and then, which I'm not even a sweet person. Like, I hate sweets. Carbs on carbs on carbs. Like, it was just ridiculous. Don't change your lifestyle because you're now pregnant and you're like, oh, I'm pregnant, I can just sit on the couch all day long and just eat whatever I want, because that's really how you're going to gain a lot of weight. So in my first trimester, I didn't have any nausea. I wasn't throwing up at all. The only thing that I really felt heavily was fatigue. I was tired all the time. I'm telling you, like, I felt like the energy, my life was being sucked right out of my body. And to help with that, I just took it easy. I said no to a lot of people for some things, and you know, you have to do that. You can't stretch yourself out so thin, especially in your first trimester. It's a scary time for a lot of women. A lot of women miscarriage during their first trimester, and that was a big concern of mine. As much as I wanted to remain positive, it's still in the back of your mind. I was just beginning to start work again in the bar industry, and I wasn't showing yet. I had a little bit of a bloat, which is another one of the symptoms that I had. I had like this severe bloating where I felt gassy all the time, and my like midsection, kind of by like my uterus or whatever, like down my pelvis area, it just felt like swollen. And being back on my feet was great because I was active again. Being in quarantine, you know, let's face it, we were just all in the house doing nothing. And yeah, I think I was nauseous maybe like 5 times out of the entire pregnancy in the beginning. And it wasn't even a nausea that took over me. It was it felt like indigestion, and it was like all here. And then I felt like maybe I needed something to wash whatever I felt there down. So I was doing some research, and some people suggested that peppermint tea helps with nausea for pregnancy. So I went ahead and I bought this peppermint tea from the brand Celestial, and it's caffeine free. That's another thing you guys want to be mindful of, is your caffeine intake, because I believe you can only intake a certain amount of caffeine every day. And aside from taking this only during nausea, I feel like you can drink this anytime, and it's just so refreshing. It makes you feel like nice and cool and minty inside. So that's why I can see like it can help with nausea. On top of that, I was also gifted these Preggy Pop drops from my best friend, and these were really helpful. They're natural, drug-free, doctor recommended. They come in different flavors like raspberry, apple, lemon, tangerine, and it's supposed to ease morning sickness. I took this whenever I would feel like a little weird, like, or a little queasy. And again, I didn't have morning sickness. I've heard horror stories. I know people who still have morning sickness and they're almost in their 3rd trimester. Some people have it throughout their entire pregnancy. I was very, very blessed to not have any type of sickness. And everyone was saying, oh, well, you don't have any morning sickness, or you don't feel bad, or like you don't feel sick, you're definitely having a boy. And I was like, listen guys, it can go either way, because my girlfriend has had a girl last year and she didn't have any morning sickness. She was perfectly fine. So don't listen to what people say about the gender and like how they correlate that with sickness and gender. No, it just depends on the person and how you're taking the pregnancy, honestly. As far as what you guys probably want to hear most of, getting stretch marks and your body growing and making changes, I went a little overboard. I didn't drop a lot of money because I had it in my mind, I had it embedded that, all right, I'm not gonna spend so much money because I'm pregnant. It's just the beginning. I'm barely showing. Actually, I'm not showing at all. I didn't pop until probably like a month and a half to 2 months ago, which is so bizarre to me. I still can't believe it, because now, like, look at this. It's definitely a bump. So in terms of like stretch marks, I did a lot of research. You know, you're gonna look up to see what celebrities are doing. You're gonna look up to see what are the best remedies, and a lot of the sites that I encountered mentioned that stretch marks are hereditary, and you can take all the precaution you want, and it just depends on your skin's elasticity. I need to start getting the skin as elastic as possible. So I went ahead and did some research on like all natural oils, because that's the route that I wanted to take. I bought these 3. This is by Pure Adore, and it is organic rose hip seed oil. I use this a lot in the beginning because it doesn't leave an oily residue, and because I was going back to work, I didn't want like oil on my clothes, so this is what I would use during the day. And then at nighttime, that's when I would use this natural organic pure vitamin E oil by Pure Adore again. And this is really nice. It smells lovely. It's really oily, so you know, you want to make sure you're wearing clothes to sleep or throughout the day if you do put this on that you don't really care about. So my go-to clothing for my first trimester, even though I wasn't showing, was just like t-shirts that were older and a little less fitted, because I just wanted to feel comfortable. Like I said, I felt bloated and gassy all the time, so that helped me feel relieved by wearing clothes like that and knowing I wasn't messing up like my other clothing. So I have like a half a bottle of this left. And then I also got this camellia seed oil. I don't know how to pronounce it, but that's what that is. And it says it's 100% organic by Sweet Essentials, and it's imported from Japan. Do your own research, guys. This is the stuff that I used in the beginning. I, knock on wood, currently don't have any stretch marks. I moisturize twice a day. In the beginning I was moisturizing like 3 times a day. Now I'm at like 2-3 times a day, and it works for me. Again, at the very last minute I can totally get stretch marks, and I'm okay with it. I just want a healthy baby. That's my main concern. few other things that I got to help moisturize the rest of my body is this Lubriderm lotion. I love Lubriderm. I've always used this. I have eczema and sensitive skin, so I need something that doesn't have fragrance. And this is the Advanced Therapy Intensely Hydrates Extra Dry Skin. And I apply this after my night shower and after my morning shower, all over my body. Two other products that I absolutely loved as well, that I used a lot of in the beginning, was this cocoa butter formula by Palmer's Tummy Butter for Stretch Marks. And the consistency of this is freaking amazing. It literally is like butter, and it doesn't have that strong like cocoa butter smell. It's very subtle, and as you can see, I did some damage in there, but it does look like butter. And it goes on, it feels like a thick consistency, and then once it hits your skin, I guess the heat melts it, so it does get a little oily. And I was using this just whenever I felt like it, honestly. I was going by like how my skin felt. Like if some days it felt a little drier than others, then I would use something a little more like hydrating. And another product that I really love is this Palmer's Cocoa Butter Formula Skin Therapy Oil. This is great. I use this at nighttime along with my bio oil. My bio oil is actually in my basket right there next to my bed. So when I come out of the shower, I put on my big t-shirt, sit in bed, and I just like have my oil right next to me and just rub it in there. And I just let my belly sit out for a little bit until the oil like absorbs. I don't want it to get on my clothing and then like waste the oil. So those are the topical and internal products that I got to help me get through my first trimester in terms of like morning sickness and my belly and stretch marks and things like that. Now let's talk about mood swings. I know that some people are just naturally moody people. I am a product of my environment. If I'm surrounded by a good energy in my house, positivity, that's how I naturally will be. So I have to say, you know, for the most part, I was in a great mood. You know, I had some family issues throughout my first trimester that I've been undergoing for years now. I would say 10 years. Didn't make my pregnancy go smoother, but I was trying my best, you know, mind over matter, and just thinking about the end goal. And the end goal is my health, my stress levels, so that it doesn't affect my baby. So in terms of moods, I would say I tried to stay as positive as possible and have the best perspective on life that I can have. And that's my advice to you guys. Just remember, at the end of the day, you and your baby come first. This is a time where you have to be selfish and you have to think about the health of the two of you. So whatever you're going through, whatever anyone else is putting you through, remove them from your life, because that's not important right now. Anyway, moving along, I feel like I missed some things. So doctor's appointments in the first trimester. You're gonna get blood drawn every single time you go to your OB. Get ready for that. I'm currently going to doctor's appointments once a month, with the exception of having to do other screenings like ultrasounds and things like that. That can be like an additional doctor's appointment. So once a month I was getting my blood drawn, and they were taking my urine. The second ultrasound, which my first real ultrasound, where they check the baby's head and spine and things like that. I forget what test that's called. Everything came out normal for that, thank goodness. And that was pretty much it for my first trimester. I think a lot of people in the early stages of their first trimester, they deal with the shock of being pregnant as well as morning sickness and other symptoms. And like I mentioned, I did not experience any of that, so I can't compare my experience to them. This is only what I went through, and these are the things that I used that helped me get through the first trimester. I didn't have to buy, another thing, I didn't have to buy different clothing. I was still able to fit into my regular clothing my entire first trimester. So don't go ahead and buy like maternity clothes right away. Don't buy a bunch of them. A lot of the time people will gift you gently used items that they have, and don't be shy, take them, because maternity clothes, one, are ugly. So if you find nice ones that I'm sure your friends have found nice ones and they're giving it to you, take them, gladly accept them and thank them, and return the favor. When someone else you know finds out they're pregnant, you no longer need them, just pass them down. What else did I get? Oh, because I wanted to document everything for the baby, I wanted handwritten notes. I bought this book off of Amazon. It's called Bump to Birthday, Pregnancy and First Year Journal. And it goes week by week of your pregnancy. It asks for your symptoms. You can write notes to it and what mommy and daddy are up to that week and things like that, which I thought was really cute. I'm 3 weeks behind right now, but I do keep a log on my cell phone, which is also helpful because I'm not going to carry this around me all the time. So since I have my cell phone on me, I just created a folder in my notes, and it's labeled pregnancy, and I just have like the weeks. So like for example, I started keeping a log in week 12. Week 12, yeah. And I have all of my cravings, I have my moods, and those are the things that I thought were most important because then I can remember what I did that week. And I also have a paper calendar that I keep and I've always kept, and it tracks all my doctor's appointments and other appointments for the baby. So I just go back between my calendar and my baby book if I need to like reference and remember things. But I wanted to read to you guys my weekly cravings. I'm not going to go week by week. I'm just going to generally tell you all the things that I craved, and you're going to see a lot of the same things, and those are the things that I still crave to this day. One being mangoes. If you guys follow me on Instagram, you know that I'm obsessed with mangoes right now. Mango smoothies are my jam. Another thing that I've been craving is lemonade, pizza, donuts. I'm not a sweet person, but for some reason donuts and those like little like what are they called, cheese danishes are my jam. Caesar salads, but be careful with that because you want to check out to see if the ingredients are good for you. That's another thing to note, guys. Just be mindful. The doctor's going to tell you things that you should avoid in terms of food, raw meats, eggs, fish, and things like that. Listen to their advice. Don't eat any of that stuff. Peanut butter and jelly is another thing I crave. Tostones, chicken gyros, french fries, buttered rolls. Literally, I'm seeing a lot of the same thing on this for all these weeks now, and there's no sense in going through every single thing. Those are my top items that I craved. I think that's it for the first trimester. I'm drawing a blank on everything else. Maybe I should tell you guys how I announced it to everyone. So being that we didn't tell anyone in the first trimester aside from my best friend, that's all I can say about that. When I film my second trimester recap, that's when I'll let you guys know how we decided to tell all of our friends and our family. And you guys can check that out then. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope that it was helpful and interesting. Like I said, I have pregnancy brain and everything is like all over the place right now, so I try my best to stay on track with giving you the prenatal stuff that I did, the topical things that I did in terms of oils and creams, and that's it. I can't really remember anything else. If something comes to mind, I'll include it in my second trimester recap video, and I'll reference this and just tell you guys like, oh yeah, by the way, I forgot to mention this in the first trimester. But until then, that's all I have for you guys, and I hope that you guys are staying safe and you're happy and you guys are all showing each other love. I'll see you guys in my next video. Thanks for watching.